Hello there, Internet. MegaMogwai here, and I am acting as some sort of announcer apparently because I forgot my tripod for like the microphone. I don't think I forgot it. I'm pretty like I remember putting it in the luggage, but I don't know. Maybe it got lost in the flight or something. So I have to hold the mic with my hand, and I'll be checking the actual audio quality of this afterwards. Hopefully, it's not too bad. But yeah, I'm gonna be doing a Mythic Championship 7 recap for you guys from my hotel room here, as I still have a few days left here in Los Angeles. So I'm gonna try to be putting out some content, even though I probably have to buy like a tripod for this or something. I figured, since I'm fresh from it, I would give you guys a bit of a rundown as to how the event went, since my matches were unfortunately not featured on the stream. And yeah, first of all, before anything, I want to honestly start off with a big thank you to you guys. I received an insane amount of support on my YouTube post, on Twitter, and I've been told, because I wasn't able to check the stream while I was competing, but I've been told that on the Twitch chat as well, there were a lot of people rooting for me, and it's very heartwarming. And this is me being very honest here. Like, I wasn't sure how many people I was gonna have like rooting for me, and I was expecting some support, but the amount of people that were just like rooting on for me and like wanted to watch the stream just because of me and all that, it was overwhelming. Like it got me a bit emotional at times. Like, honestly, like it was just great. I'm extremely thankful. I know, like, sometimes I read all my comments, but I obviously don't reply to all of them. But I figured in a video like this is where I can express that a bit better. So thank you so much for rooting me on and for making this such a great experience for me. Unfortunately, we did not qualify for day 2 because we ended up going 2 and 4. So I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a quick rundown for like the games, what happened and all that, and overall my final impressions and everything. So this was my first ever big like Magic tournament. I've never, like, I competed in a lot of card games throughout my life, but for the most part I've been focusing on my career as a content creator, right? Like, I focus on YouTube mainly, and I also stream on Twitch, and that's my main priority. I want to showcase all sorts of different decks. I aim to have fun with the game, right? Even though I'm a pretty competitively driven person, I like, tackling the meta with non-meta stuff and trying to counter it and be creative. And that's how I have fun with the game, and that's what I founded my channel on, right? So for this event, the preparation was a little bit all over the place for me. It was the first time that I prepared for a Magic event, and unfortunately I didn't really have many or any like pro players to like spar with, practice with. I owe all of my preparation help to Pageman, who actually provided me with the deck that I competed with today. And I'll talk about a little bit about preparation after the actual rundown. So so this video is not like super long, but basically the day started off with me going up against Jockmuth, an Italian streamer who also I don't know if he qualified or was invited, but he was playing Crokey's Golgari food deck. And this was a good matchup for me. One of the reasons why I brought Timur Reclamation is because I expected quite a bit of cat oven decks, and those decks are pretty resourceful and have a very good long game and are resilient and able to slow down aggro decks as well. It's a really solid deck, but at the same time it's slow, and Timur Reclamation can really capitalize on that and set up a very powerful explosion to finish them off. So against Jogmuth and this deck, I actually managed to pull off a 2-0 win. First game, I won with Niv Mizzet into an Explosion, which was a great way to start things off. And game number 2 was a bit more grindy, but I was able to... I knew what was coming from the sideboard, the Deathless Knight, amongst other things. He was going to take a more aggressive approach to take me down, right? I ate up like 3 or 4 casualties of war as if it was like my fucking breakfast, and it didn't matter. We just kept grinding through. Escape to the Wilds, put in a lot of work, and I was eventually able to survive, and pick at him. Actually, like I didn't like explosion on him this time. I just kind of like tore down at his HP little by little with the Giants and the Brazen Borrower, and then I set up an Explosion Kill. So this was a really good start for me, because even though the matchup was good, Golgari Food is still a force to be reckoned with, and I was definitely somewhat afraid of the deck for sure. But we're off to a good start. I'm feeling great about it. And round 2, I get paired against Rakdos Aristocrats, and this is initially a good matchup for me. Because Rakdos, that color combination has no way to interact with my Wilderness Reclamation, which means that I don't have to change up my sideboard plan, which, by the way, my deck was designed to not revolve around Reclamation entirely, and I had another way of winning against decks that had, Teferi and basically a lot of enchantment removal, and that was through Escape to the Wilds, ramping into Niv Mizzet, right? But in this matchup, we basically got smorked. we got aggroed. Turn 1, he was on the play. Game 1, turn 2 of game 1, he has a cat and 2 ovens by turn 2 on the board. And at that point, I was like, well, shit, I think we're going down here. As soon as I managed to stabilize, I was already at 4 health, and the pings just got me. Not much I could do there. Game 2, kind of the same thing happened. More cats, more ovens, rankles, and mayhem devils. I was able to answer a lot of them, but the damage kept coming, and I just could not build up enough time to get my game plan going, unfortunately. The guy, after the game, he told me, yeah, dude, I drew, perfectly. And, yeah, I got smoked. It happens, right? I was a bit bummed, though, because it was like I said, it wasn't a terrible matchup for me, but, it just didn't go my way, right? So series 3 and 4 is where I have the most to, what's the term here? Basically, I can learn the most from those series, right? I got, again, pretty rough matchups that I was not looking forward to. I was looking forward to the likes of Golgari Food, Golgari Adventure, John the Food, and Is It Flash, which were very prevalent throughout the tournament. But unfortunately, I got queued into Simic Ramp Series 3, and this Sultai ramp that is pretty crazy, Series 4. So in Series 3 against the Simic ramp, I won the first game because it was a very greedy deck that had no interaction with me, so I was able to easily implement my game plan. But I knew that games 2 and 3 were going to be extremely difficult because their entire sideboard was good against me. They had 4 Aether Gust, Mystical Disputes, Thrashing Brontodons, Return to Nature, Shifting Ceratops. They literally brought their entire sideboard against me, and I had a plan to rely a bit less on Reclamation and Escape to the Wild and try to tackle them with my Giants. But unfortunately, I took out too many Escape to the Wilds, and the thing that I can learn the most from that series is I definitely did not sideboard properly, because I was eventually able to stabilize both games, but I ran out of gas. I had Reclamations on the board, but I didn't have card draw. At one point, I had a Niv Mizzet and a Reclamation on the board, but I had no cards left. And I kept drawing lands, and things would have been different if I kept a couple of Escape to the Wilds at least. I think that would make a big difference, and that's what I can definitely learn from that one, which unfortunately I lost 2-1, right? So in Series 4, it was more the same. I won Game 1, but then, post-sideboard, things got really awkward. Nissa is a very strong card for us to deal with as Timur Reclamation, as she applies a lot of pressure and also enables the player to ramp more than we do with our 5-mana ramp play in Escape to the Wilds, right? I do think my sideboard game plan was better, but I had a crucial misplay in Game 3, which I'm not sure if it ultimately mattered, but basically I had Reclamation on the board. I had 4 lands and a Frilled Mystic, and I knew beforehand I was going to tap for the Frilled Mystic to enable it, right? But I had a brain fart, and I did not tap for green, and I got my Reclamation bounced, and that kind of sealed my fate. Though I'm not sure if it ultimately mattered because my opponent had a Nissa on the board, but it was a rough matchup as a whole. But it could have been winnable if I didn't make them. That was my one misplay, my one big misplay throughout the tournament, and I was pretty tilted about that for a while. But then I got back on my feet. I'm like, you know what? What's done is done. We can still go on from here. I'm 1-3, so I'm 1 game away from elimination. I got to win 4 in a row, so let's try to do it, And then in Series 5, we got paired against Autumn Burchett. So my Game 3, by the way, was against Lucas Berthold, a MPL player who's a Grand Prix winner and all these sorts of I played against a lot of pro players, basically, a lot of MPL players. And Series 5, I got paired against Autumn Burchett, who was playing Golgari Adventures with Lucky Clover. And this was finally a good matchup for me. I was like, okay, this is winnable. I can do this. I'm facing an incredible player, but as long as I do things right, I can take this. And I managed to defeat her 2-0. Or sorry, they. And yeah, it was a pretty clean win for me when it comes to, like, you know, the 2-0 score and the fact that I was in control pretty much the entire time. But even then, like, my play was not so clean. I could have played smoother. I could have played better. I made some questionable decisions that didn't end up mattering, but it's also hard to, like, you know, perform 100% when you're on the, you know, on the spot there, and there's pressure happening and everything, right? But regardless, I managed to, you know, have a pretty dominant performance against Autumn, and we went to 2-3, and then, you know, the dream was still alive. I had to win 3 in a row to qualify for day 2. But then, unfortunately, the matchup that I really was not looking forward to happened in Series 6, and that was against Jeskai Byers. And there's not much to say about this particular series, because games 1 and 2 were basically the same. You know, turn 3 to Fairy, turn 4 Fire's Invention, turn 5 I'm dead. Cavalier Flames and the Cavalier Gale, boom, over. So not much I could have done differently. Like, I actually had somewhat of a chance game 1, but as soon as my opponent dropped the Fire's Invention, I just did not have resources available to me. I dealt with the first Teferi, but he had a second Teferi. And from that point onwards, the problem with that deck is that they shut down my Reclamation, and they kill me very fast with the Fires, right? That deck is very draw dependent, but the guy had an absolute nut draw, and I was fully aware that if that happened, you know, I had little chance, and that's how it went. And that was the end of my run. I ended up 2-4. Obviously, I, you know, wish I could have done much better. I had high hopes. I prepared a lot. I sacrificed quite some time from my YouTube, which definitely, you know, sucks, because I love YouTube. I love uploading every day, and I miss doing it very much, and I still have to stay a couple of days here more, so I won't be back to uploading regularly until like a few days from now. But from that point onwards, you can expect me to, like, get back on the absolute grind, and I won't miss daily uploads for the remainder of the year, and, you know, for the next year as well. Like, I am very grateful for where I'm at with YouTube, and seeing all the support today has just, like, kind of like reinvigorated that, right? So yeah, what have I learned from this event? Well, despite, you know, some very rough matchups, especially like Series 2 and 5, in which I couldn't have done much, my other 2 losses, I feel like a better sideboard approach and better sequencing could have kept me in the game. So, first of all, gameplay, I need to get sharper. I need to be able to decide not only quicker, but also just improve. I know I have a lot to improve. It's easy to just blame it on matchup and bad luck, but that's not all that happened, right? Like, I have to, you know, be honest with myself, and I have to be willing to improve as a player. Like, I played against some of the best Magic the Gathering players in the world, and it's a rough environment, but it was very motivating at the same time, man, because the thing is, despite, like, the pressure and the event and everything, honestly, I had a blast, man. Like, I loved it. Like, every time I would get in a game, I was, like, excited. I got like, oh, jittery, and I was, like, really pumped to get into a game. Like, this metagame, well, it's a headache to prepare for, competitively speaking. Ever since these bans happened, honestly, Standard is super diverse, and there's still, like, I truly believe there's still many things to be discovered, and it excites me for the future. I qualified for the Mythic Championship qualifier for the next one, so I will be competing in that one as well. And honestly, you know, rough start, but I think it's to be expected for someone of my experience. And all I can say, man, is I want more. I'm hungry. Like, this is not the last you'll hear of fake Brazilian. You know, your fake Brazilian card boy here. Competing in the big leagues. Like, I am going to aim to improve, and I want to give it a shot, man. I think I definitely do have the potential, and, you know, it wasn't that bad for a first time. And you know, like, there's one guy today who, like, went 5-0, and apparently in the first Mythic Championship that he participated, like, he played only in one other Mythic Championship, and he went 0-4 in that one. So just goes to show, man, improvement can happen. And I'm excited. Like I'm just really hyped about it. Like I have discovered quite the love for, like I love Magic the Gathering, but for competitive Magic the Gathering, and I just want to do it more. So again, I have to improve my gameplay, and I will be doing that, you know, as I make videos and stream for you guys. I'll be focusing a lot on that, and I also need to improve on my preparation. Like I need to be realistic. Preparing while streaming exclusively, not the best approach. You know, Croaky's kind of suffered from that a little bit too. Like he actually ended up going 1-4, so he struggled quite a bit as well. And yeah, like I need to find some pro players to like train with and prepare with for events, and keep things a bit more secret, and just be more efficient with my time when it comes to preparation, and find a way to combine that without me you know, dropping the YouTube content, right? Like I need to keep the YouTube content flowing, just making better use of my time, basically, which I feel, you know, I'm very grateful for PageMan. I liked Timur Reclamation quite a bit, but at the same time, I see, I mean, I was very aware of certain flaws that my prep had, right? Like the biggest one was the weakness to Jeskai Fires, which was the most popular deck. Not by much, but it was the most popular deck, and I was going to run into it eventually. Next time when I prepare, I have to make sure that the deck I run into with, I have a good matchup against what people consider to be the best decks. So I have to do a better job at that. I have to prepare better. I'm still thinking about that Esper control idea with Lock Me or Serpent as a late game win condition. I think that could be good against both food and fires, but it has to be designed properly, and I need some time to actually design that deck and optimize it. But I do believe it can be, you know, a thing. And yeah, like I just gotta work better on that. Like PageMan helped me tremendously, but I need to improve my prep for the future, and that's something that I'm gonna be working on as well. Like 2020 is exciting, man, because, you know, I'm very grateful and very lucky to be where I'm at with my YouTube and everything, but there's no reason why I can't pursue both things, right? And I think it's also exciting, you know, for some of you who watch me, to see me compete against the big dogs. Like it's cool, right? So I ultimately, like, my biggest motivation is I want to make those of you who watch my channel, like, I want to make you proud. I want to try to you know, improve and prove myself against the best, and at the same time use all that experience and knowledge to share cool decks with you guys, and just keep this whole YouTube journey going, which has been absolutely fantastic. And that's, I'm basically I'm going on tangents here. I think I said everything that I needed to say. Again, thank you so much for the support. I fucking love you, seriously. And we'll try better next time. I'm very excited for what's to come. This was very motivating. This was not like a negative experience in any shape or form, which is nice, you know. Like, you know, we didn't qualify for day 2, but I learned. I actually learned, and I'm looking forward to what's to come. And I appreciate those of you who root for me, and hopefully you stick around and are excited for the future as well. So yeah, love you guys. Thank you for everything. Stay tuned for more videos upcoming as I get back. I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna also like record a box opening. If you guys don't mind that, I received a Throne of Eldraine booster box from Wizards, so I figured why not open that in a video and see what cards we get and stuff, and maybe I get into paper a bit as well. So yeah, that was all day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.